I'm Christine Prodingal, and today I'm demonstrating a scalable notification system. So this project uses a web front end to trigger a multi-stage backend using RabbitMQ for queuing and Apache Kafka for event logging. So this architecture ensures that our system remains responsive and reliable even under heavy load. Now, what is the purpose of this project pala and how it was created? The purpose of this project kasi is to demonstrate a decoupled notification architecture. In a real laboratory or hospital system, you don't want the website to crash if the database is slow. By using RabbitMQ and Kafka, the front end can send a message and immediately move on, while the back end, they handles the processing in the background, and we'll show that later. Now, how it was created pala. So this project was built using a Java Enterprise good for Java developers for dependency management. Now, it integrates two major industry standard message brokers, which is the RabbitMQ for reliable message queuing and Apache Kafka is for high throughput event streaming logging. Let me demonstrate on how are we going to run this project because there are lots of things to deal first before we are going to run the project. First, we are going to open the both server of Kafka and the RabbitMQ. Now, after the both server of Kafka and RabbitMQ is ready, then we must keep the Kafka and other CMD window, which is for the RabbitMQ. For this is or this serves as our engine. And if the engine isn't running, of course, the Java code has nowhere to send data. So let's just keep this both CMD running or both server run. Now let's open the website or the front end of the RabbitMQ, which we can locate it for the local host 15672, and let's enter it. So as you can see, we have logged in as guest and the password also is guest and click login. Now we enter the front end of a RabbitMQ. And of course, for the very important part is running the project. As you can see, here is the project, which named as notification system, and there is 4 packages in here, which named as controller, Kafka, main, and RabbitMQ. And each packages have its own classes. So first, the controller, which have a class named message service that Java. This is the controller, and the Kafka have two classes, which is the Kafka consumer and producer, and also the main package, which has a class named start consumer.java. This is where we run the Java application, and also the RabbitMQ, which have also a two classes. So the RabbitMQ consumer and RabbitMQ producer. Now let's try to run the program, and let's run it in the main package or the main class. Now, as you can see, when we run the main class, the console in here says that waiting for RabbitMQ messages and waiting for Kafka messages. And now we go to the notification system and run it. Of course, click right run as run on server and select Tomcat and finish. We'll explain later what is Tomcat and what is the purpose of Tomcat in here. Let's have a new console so that will be going to presented in here, and we'll see the difference between the two consoles. Now let's try to message, which is we'll message it here in the front end, the localhost 8080 for the notification system. So here, as you can see, there is a front end, and we'll going to send a message so that we could demonstrate how Kafka and RabbitMQ sent messages also, and how RabbitMQ and Kafka producer, um, consumer receive the message. Now let's type laboratory 5, hello, RabbitMQ and Kafka. Let's broadcast the message and let's wait to be composed. So here, as we can see, it said that message sent laboratory 5, hello, Rabbit, MQ, and Kafka. Now, when we go back to the console, we can see that RabbitMQ sent and Kafka sent, which is the message laboratory 5, hello, RabbitMQ, and Kafka. Now, we are going to check if the, the RabbitMQ consumer and the Kafka consumer received the message. Now here, it says RabbitMQ received and Kafka received the message. Now it is successful. And it is successfully received by the Kafka and the RabbitMQ consumer. What is the reason pala why we run start consumer as a Java application? Servlets kasi are reactive. So in servlets, which we can see in the whole project, this is the controller. So they are reactive. They only work when clicked. Consumers must be proactive, always listening. Now, running them as a Java application keeps them alive 24/7 without being tied to a web request. And the servlet controller here, they acts as a traffic cop. It sits between the user and the database middleware, or the database or the middleware. So its job is to catch the click from the browser, extract the message, and hand it to the Java code. This sits between the user and the database. So basically, when we click the message that comes from the notification, it goes to the controller or they gets that message and extract it and hand it to the Java code. So that is the purpose of the servlet controller there. So when we click kasi the send button in index.html, a JavaScript fetch or form action is triggered. So this hits a class in our package controller, likely a notification servlet. So the do post or the do get method is the exact part of the code that wakes up. And also inside the controller, the code calls the RabbitMQ producer that send message. And if successful, of course, the message is sent to the RabbitMQ server. Controller then sends a success response back to our HTML page. And now let's discuss the 4 packages. So how they actually work. So first package, which is the controller and has class that named message servlet.java. So here, this is the notification servlet. They receives the web request from the HTML page and starts the process. And also, here's a RabbitMQ, which is the RabbitMQ producer. So they connects to the RabbitMQ and pushes the message into the notification queue. Now, the RabbitMQ consumer naman, they sits in the background, pulls the message out, and hands it to Kafka. And now the Kafka producer service naman, they takes the message from the RabbitMQ and streams it into a Kafka topic. And Kafka consumer, which is the final destination, it reads the Kafka topic and prints the log to our console. So that is the how the 4 packages have helped us um, to actually run the program or the project. And also the package main here, which is the start consumer where we run the Java application. This is a helper class which used to run the background listeners manually as a Java application. When we look at the package explorer, we can see that index.html is in web app. So in a Java web project kasi, the web app folder is the public folder. So anything inside it is visible to the web browser. Deployed resources is just Eclipse way of showing us what Tomcat is currently holding. And the automatic opening um of the front end or the website. So kanina when we run the notification system, it automatically opens the website. So when we run kasi the project on the server, Eclipse tells Tomcat to start and then tells our default browser to go to the local host, which is the 8080 project name, and which defaults to open index.html. And that is why when we run the notification system as our server, it automatically opens the website. Now, lastly, what is really the role of Tomcat? Now, the role of Tomcat kasi here is they serve as a web server that hosts our project. Without Tomcat, our HTML and servlets are just files on a disk. Tomcat provides the environment, which is the container that listens to internet requests on port 8080. So that is the role of a Tomcat. In conclusion, this project demonstrates how messaging systems like RabbitMQ and Kafka can be integrated into web applications to handle communications efficiently.